Hi, it's George again from the ReBuild Shop, brought to you by the Bomber Command Museum of Canada and also 57 Rescue. On our last segment, I asked for comments, and a viewer texted me back and said, he would like to see more of drawings and more explanations of what we're doing instead of, having a piece of metal in front of us. So what I thought we would do is right now we're in one of the studios of Dunrobin Castle, who the owner is one of our directors. So what we're going to do, I'm basically going to go through what we have and what we're doing so that everyone can understand it isn't just one little piece of metal in my driveway. Now, as you can see on the screen, these are one set of main gear for the center spar that I'm working on. They are in storage at the Canada Aviation and Space Museum. And I thought I'd just offset it by saying that our parts are in very good company. Very few people know about this, but these are actual Avro Aero outer wing panels. They have flown, I have looked at them. I thought I'd throw that in just for a little piece of history. Now here's another shot outside the storage facility. We have taken out the box sections. Now this is from outside the gate because I couldn't get in at the time. That's 1.5 basically center wing sections. Now this piece is part of an intermediate wing. I believe it's the port or left side. We can use this as a template, and this is what attaches to the outboard end of the center wing section. And one of the engines attaches next to it. Now here again you can see there are 4 outer box sections, as we like to call them, because, well, it's a wing box section that has been severed off from the main spar that you've seen in our temporary ReBuild shop. These are some parts for the leading edges and trailing edges that we were able to rescue. They're invaluable, 1 for templates and 2 to get the right geometry and everything for the wing. Again, here are different parts of engine mounts. Here's a piece of a trailing edge. You can see where the aileron attaches up in here. Here is the outer box of the center wing spar, and this is where the landing gear bay is. You can see the drag strut in here. It's still in place. It's totally usable. And again, as we're talking about the front spar, here's 1/3 of the section. You can see it looks exactly like the one in the temporary shelter, and it was severed over here. And this would be attached one piece. Here's a close-up of it. Exactly as I said, that's in our temporary ReBuild shop, except it's been severed over here. Now we also have the fittings where the intermediate wing will pick up. These can be restored. Yes, they're rusty, but they can be used. And that is the lower one. This is the upper one. Again, you can see they're rusty. We can restore these, and if need be, instead of making new ones, we can just machine these out a little bit and then make a sleeve with an interference fit where we would actually freeze the sleeve and heat up this fitting and then press it into place, and when it expands again it will be larger than the diameter of the hole and we'll keep it there forever. Again, here are the same 4 box sections, but this is inside the compound now. They're ready for me to take away and start taking parts out. These are the outboard edges, and as you can see they're quite acceptable, and we can restore a lot of these parts and put them back together. Again, this is another box section, and unfortunately this intermediate piece of wing is up against it, but you can still see the drag brace and everything, because we do have 2 sets of landing gear. One set is here in Ottawa, and the other set is in Danton, Alberta. And again, here's the top edge or top side of this intermediate wing. You can see where it would fit on here, and across here there's a witness mark. That's where they would put a tertiary piece of metal that would ferret in the joint to the inboard wing section. Okay, this is unfortunately my messy basement. Here's another thing we were doing as well. This is a mold taken from the one and only propeller that is at CFB Trenton. Halifax propellers, you won't find any. So what we have is this mold so that we can actually make copies of the propellers blades themselves. And then, well, of course, we have to find the spiders that the blades will fit in, plus the propeller hub. One thing I do know for certain that might be interesting to the viewers is these propellers, when I was doing the propeller restoration at CFB Trenton, I noticed that they are actually Hamilton standard propellers. They are the same propellers that were used on the B-17s, B-24 Liberators. The only difference is these are opposite rotation, and they were built by de Havilland in England, but exactly the same design, and I proved it because the spinner hub, where the actual hydraulics are to change the pitch on the propeller, that was misplaced somewhere. It actually ended up in Nova Scotia, and we got it back from a parts depot from the Air Force 2 years later. But in the meantime, we had to find the spinner to put at the end of the prop hub. I went to a company in Oshawa that I knew, an aircraft company, and asked if they had the center for a Hamilton standard from a DC-3, and brought it back, screwed right in. So therefore, I was absolutely 100% sure that it was a Hamilton standard design. And it only makes sense because why not share the technology instead of having to, design everything yourself? Here on the workbench, here's one of them. It's in various stages of being worked on because they don't come out of the mold perfectly, but this is a composite blade made out of an epoxy with a glass bead and fiberglass random strand chopped into fine fibers with a polyurethane core. They're quite extensive to build. There's a lot of labor involved, but hey, as you can see, they're well worth it. It's a nice piece of work.